Andros, what would be the length of your speech?
It's an icebreaker speech in the level 1, so it's 5 to 7.
Thank you.
And I'm going to share my screen. Let me know when you could see something on the screen.
Yes. Yeah, I can see it.
Okay. Huh. It won't let me go in. Now, do you see 2 screens now or just one?
Just one.
Okay, great. The title of my speech is Don't Be Afraid of the Fall. Do you remember how motivated you were when you sat down at your desk or table to draft your 2021 goals? I know I do. I was so excited. I was going to conquer world hunger. Well, I started to jot things down on the list, and the list got longer and longer. But that did not bring any fear in me. But when I put them all down on the calendar, set out milestones, dates of when I wanted to complete things, and I stepped back and I looked at all of the red dots on this calendar, and I realized, wow, I think I've overstepped my bounds. And right at that moment, fear set in. The fear that I felt inside had me paralyzed, starting to doubt myself. Can I do it? Will I do it? What if? What if I fail? What if I stumble? What if I fall? And then I took a step back and I said, well, maybe with every step that I take, I get closer and closer to the other side. And that's what it is when you're achieving your goals. You don't jump right in and achieve the goal all at one fall. There are small steps and small actions that you take in order to achieve your goal. So then I said, well, perhaps it would be a great idea if I came up with a plan, not so much that I would just write actions to every goal that I wanted to achieve, but a real solid plan, one that I could replicate over and over and over again, and maybe one that my Toastmaster members could replicate as well. So then I took a look and I said, well, what could those be? Don't be afraid of the fall. Just take a look at 12 months in a year, 12 weeks, 12 days, whatever you'd like to choose, and start to identify things that you can do either every month, every day, every week, for 12 days or months or weeks until you achieve that goal. So let's start with one item. Set a measurable, attainable goal to complete the pathway. So that sounds like something that maybe you cannot measure. How can you measure it? Step 2, review all of the projects in the pathway that you have chosen. Once you have set a goal to achieve the pathways and review all of the projects that's in the pathways, then you could start to think about, how am I going to do it? Maybe create a list of ideas, speech ideas that aligns with every project. Jot them down, think about how they fit, where they fit in. You might have to move them around a little bit. Take a look at what the speech objective is, and then craft maybe just a little outline of what you would say in your opening, your closing, and your body of the speech. So now you have a pretty good framework. You're starting off pretty good, heading down the pathway, taking the steps that you need to go off and achieve your pathway in 12 months or 12 weeks or 12 days. So then what you would like to do is schedule all of your speeches. So this would take some time for you to sit with the VP of Education, take a look at the calendar across the year, pace yourself out, set some stretch goals for yourself, challenge yourself, push yourself so that you're not slacking off. Give yourself an opportunity to take a break, step back, decompress, but look at the calendar for the whole year and schedule your speeches out all at one time. In doing that, if you schedule your speeches, say 3 weeks apart, you know then that you have to work toward achieving that smaller goal of giving that speech. And if you continue to do that using these steps of understanding the project, jotting down ideas, refining them, writing your outline, you'll be able to achieve all of the goals that you've set to meeting the speeches that you've scheduled on the plan. The next thing I would suggest you do, develop a plan to complete the content of your speeches. So now you have an outline of the opening, the body, and the closing. The first was a pretty draft outline. But now at this point, you have fully understood the project. You have a solid idea of what your speech is going to be about, and maybe even have a title of your speech. So at this point, perhaps you would start to add some content to your speech. Start to draft out what you would say in your opening. What supporting information can you add in? What quotes can you use? And just go on and just draft out your speech at this point. Then the next thing you could do is review the evaluation resources for a project. Understanding what you're going to be measured on is very important to your growth and how you will achieve each project better than the one before. And not only understanding the resources of general resources of evaluation, but understanding what the evaluation specific to your project is looking for, so that you could start to build those items into your speech and into your practice time. Number 8, the night before the speech, rehearse your speech in front of a mirror. Take a look at how you want to place your gestures, how big you want them, how small you want them. Do you want your gestures to be hand gestures, hand and body gestures? And just think about your speech as you're practicing and really mimic what you're going to do the day of delivery. Another thing that it's a good idea is when you're going to be giving your speech, especially in a virtual setting, practice in front of your camera, even if you just sit there and mimic the words, but adjust your camera so that you're getting a good angle on the camera and that the audience see you right on, not from the side, but you want to face the camera directly. So make sure that your camera is set up at the right height, that it's open wide enough, and that you are interfacing with the audience that's viewing you through the camera. Another suggestion would be the morning of the speech, take some deep breathing exercises to help you calm your nerves, to get rid of those butterflies. You might think that, wow, this is my 100th speech. Why am I still feeling nervous? Well, it's a new project. It's a new idea. It's some new things that you want to convey to your audience. So it's like doing it for the first time. So take some breathing exercises, give some affirmation to yourself, talk about how strong you are and how you're going to give that speech and how you're going to deliver it. And the audience is going to be well receptive of what you have to say. So give that self-talk that will help you to bring up your nerves and to dispel those butterflies. The day of the speech, show up early to the meeting. Log in early, see who's there, notice their friendly faces, smile at them, say a little chit chat. All of those things will help to settle your nerves and calm you and make you feel comfortable when you get up in front of the audience. You have an understanding of who you're speaking to and how they might receive the information. And finally, give the speech and listen well to your evaluation. Take every word that the evaluator says as being very valuable to you. They're like golden nuggets. Jot down any little information that they say, and even the way they said it. What was their body doing when they said it? You can tell a lot about what a person is saying in the evaluation, not just by listening to the words, by paying attention to their body. Because when they say something that lights them up and they felt good about it, their face will light up, their body would erect, and you know that that perhaps was a good point. And that was something you might want to replicate in the rest of your speeches. So now that you have these 12 steps that you could use to practice and develop all of your speeching tools and all of your pathways, you're on your way to a good start. And not only can you use this with your speeches, but if you just change this from a pathway to a goal and just use the same type of 12 steps to get you through achieving a goal, then you can achieve world hunger, Mr. Toastmaster.
That's a wonderful list, Rosalind. Can we have 1 minute for